In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 college basketball games happening on January 21st, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Mississippi State versus Tennessee. It's a clash of ranked Southeastern Conference opponents on the basketball court as the number 15 Mississippi State Bulldogs travel to Knoxville to face off against the number 6 Tennessee Volunteers on Tuesday night. The Bulldogs enter this game on a high note, having narrowly edged past the number 21 Ole Miss Rebels with an 84-81 overtime victory on their home court Saturday night. Despite the win, Mississippi State fell short of covering the spread as 6-point favorites. On the other side, the Volunteers are looking to rebound from a tough 76-75 road loss to Vanderbilt on Saturday, where they failed to cover the spread as 5.5-point favorites. Historically, Tennessee holds a commanding 90-46 advantage in the all-time series between these programs. However, Mississippi State has gained the upper hand in recent meetings, winning the last 2 matchups, including a decisive 73-56 victory in the quarterfinals of the Southeastern Conference Tournament on March 15, 2024. Last season, these two teams faced each other twice, with Mississippi State emerging victorious in both contests. The Bulldogs not only won straight up but also covered the spread against the spread in both games. This included an impressive 17-point triumph in the Southeastern Conference Tournament. Heading into this game, Tennessee finds themselves with a relatively favorable spread, despite some inconsistency in their recent performances. The Volunteers' defense, which has traditionally been a strong point, has started to show vulnerabilities, allowing opponents to remain competitive in both wins and losses. Nevertheless, Tennessee has been more reliable on their home court, where they recently defeated 2 ranked Southeastern Conference teams by an average margin of 21 points. While the Bulldogs boast a solid offense, they do not rank among the elite teams in the Southeastern Conference. This season, Tennessee holds a 7-3 against the spread record at home and has gone 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 meetings against Mississippi State. The Volunteers had an opportunity to secure a win against Vanderbilt on Saturday, but ultimately fell short, as Lanier missed a critical free throw with just 2 seconds remaining. Tennessee has now dropped 2 of their last 4 games, although it is worth noting that both losses occurred on the road. At home, however, the Volunteers have been dominant, boasting a flawless 10-0 record, with each victory coming by double-digit margins. On the other hand, Mississippi State has been respectable on the road, posting a 3-1 record, including wins over SMU and Memphis. However, the Bulldogs were dealt a humbling 22-point defeat at the hands of Auburn in their most recent road outing. While Tennessee has experienced some close calls in Southeastern Conference play, it's important to recognize that these tighter games have primarily occurred during their road matchups. At home, the Volunteers have demonstrated the ability to dominate opponents, as evidenced by their convincing wins over Arkansas and Georgia. Although Mississippi State presents a formidable challenge, the expectation is that Tennessee will pull away during the second half and secure a victory by a margin of 10 to 12 points. This game represents a prime opportunity for the Volunteers to regain their footing on their home court, so the Tennessee Volunteers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Tennessee has established itself as one of the most defensively stout teams in college basketball this season. The Volunteers rank 5th in the nation in scoring defense, 3rd in defensive efficiency, and 2nd in effective field goal percentage defense. Additionally, they are 4th in field goal percentage defense and lead the nation in 3-point defense, holding opponents to a mere 25.5% shooting from beyond the arc. Tennessee employs a slow-paced style of play, ranking 331st in the country with an average of 64 possessions per game. On the other hand, Ole Miss brings a respectable defensive presence to the table, ranking 45th in defensive efficiency, 143rd in field goal percentage defense, and 56th in forced turnover percentage. The Rebels play at a relatively average pace, ranking 163rd with 67.8 possessions per game. Last season, the two teams combined to average 139 points across their two matchups, splitting the totals at 1-1. Mississippi State managed to exceed 70 points in both contests, but Tennessee's defense has only improved since last year. The Volunteers thrive when they dictate the pace, as their slow tempo, ranking 331st overall per Ken Palm, allows them to control the flow of the game. Against Southeastern Conference opponents, Tennessee has averaged 68 points per game. Meanwhile, Mississippi State ranks 161st in tempo, ensuring that this matchup is unlikely to turn into a high-scoring affair. The Bulldogs' offense has struggled against top-tier defenses, as evidenced by their 66-point output against Auburn just 2 games ago. Given Tennessee's suffocating defense and deliberate pace, Mississippi State is likely to face significant challenges in this matchup. With the Volunteers' relentless defense and methodical tempo, this game appears poised to fall short of the projected total. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Ohio State versus Purdue. The Big Ten Conference showcases an intriguing matchup on Tuesday as the Ohio State Buckeyes take on the number 11 Purdue Boilermakers. This conference clash is expected to deliver intense action, with Purdue holding the upper hand in the rankings and overall performance this season. The Ohio State Buckeyes come into this game on a disappointing note, having suffered 3 consecutive losses, which include defeats to Indiana and Utah despite being favored in those contests. In stark contrast, the Purdue Boilermakers have been dominant, boasting a flawless 6-0 record both straight up and against the spread in their last 6 games. Defensively, Purdue has been formidable, allowing fewer than 70 points in 7 consecutive games. This impressive run includes a road victory over an Oregon team that recently defeated Ohio State on the Buckeyes' home court. While sports math isn't always a definitive tool for evaluating matchups, this comparison further emphasizes the significant gap between these two teams. Additionally, Purdue has been unbeatable at home, boasting a perfect 9-0 straight-up record this season. Adding to Ohio State's woes, the Buckeyes have struggled significantly against Big Ten opponents in 2025, holding a dismal 1-4 record. They have also performed poorly against the spread in those games, going 1-4-0. Their troubles extend to road games, where they have a 1-3-0 against the spread record, which does not bode well for their chances against a team as strong as Purdue. Purdue's defense is likely to hold Ohio State to under 70 points, and it would not be surprising if the Buckeyes failed to score even 65. On the other hand, the Boilermakers thrive offensively at home, averaging an impressive 85.6 points per game on 52.7% shooting. Facing a defense that allows an average of 80 points on the road, Purdue has a clear advantage in key areas such as free throws, turnovers, and rebounding. Given Ohio State's current form, it's hard to envision them keeping this contest competitive. Expect Purdue to deliver a commanding victory in this Big Ten showdown on Tuesday night, so the Purdue Boilermakers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. At home, Purdue has been an offensive powerhouse, averaging 86 points per game. This includes an impressive 104-point performance in their most recent home outing. Meanwhile, Ohio State's defense has been notably weaker in road games, allowing 70 or more points in 4 consecutive contests. With this in mind, the Boilermakers are poised to score at least 80 points in this matchup. Despite their recent struggles, Ohio State should be able to score at least 60 points, which could push this game over the projected total. The Buckeyes have been consistent in surpassing the 60-point mark, achieving that in 8 straight games, including 6 outings where they scored 70 or more points. Offensive rebounding may provide Ohio State with some much-needed opportunities to generate points on Tuesday. Offensively, the Buckeyes have been solid throughout the season. They are ranked 44th in adjusted offensive efficiency, scoring an impressive 115.8 points per 100 possessions. In terms of raw statistics, they rank inside the top 50 in both field goal percentage and 3-point shooting. As for Purdue, they are one of the most efficient offensive teams in the nation, sitting at 8th in adjusted offensive efficiency with 122 points per 100 possessions. The Boilermakers are ranked inside the top 25 in both field goal percentage and 3-point shooting. While both teams tend to play at a slower pace, and Purdue's Mackey Arena is notoriously tough for opponents to score in, the offensive firepower on display suggests that this game could exceed expectations. The current total of 141.5 points appears deflated, making this an opportune time to consider the over. Historical trends also support this view, as the over has hit in 3 of the last 6 meetings between these teams, with 2 games pushing the total. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. North Carolina versus Wake Forest. The stage is set for an exciting clash between Atlantic Coast Conference rivals on the hardwood as the North Carolina Tar Heels travel down Tobacco Road to take on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons on Tuesday night. In their most recent outing on Saturday, the Tar Heels suffered a heartbreaking 72-71 loss to Stanford at home, failing to cover as heavy 12-point favorites. Meanwhile, the Demon Deacons earned a solid victory that same day, defeating Virginia Tech 72-63 on their home court and covering the spread as 4-point favorites. Historically, North Carolina has dominated this rivalry, holding a commanding 111-52 edge in the all-time series, including an 85-64 win at home in their last meeting on January 22, 2024. While North Carolina's overall record of 12-7 might not appear overly impressive, it's essential to consider the level of competition they faced. According to Ken Palm, the Tar Heels have endured the 6th toughest schedule in the nation, a stark contrast to Wake Forest, which ranks 116th in strength of schedule. When comparing overall adjusted efficiency metrics, North Carolina also has the upper hand, sitting at 32nd with a plus 18.69 margin. In comparison, Wake Forest ranks 77th with a plus 10.78 margin. Statistically, the Tar Heels boast advantages across several key categories. They lead in field goal percentage, three-point shooting accuracy, free throw percentage, turnovers per game, and rebound rate. On the other side, aside from standout performer Hunter Sallies, who averages an impressive 19.5 points per game, the Demon Deacons roster lacks additional firepower. Despite their challenges, Wake Forest benefits from a perfect home record, standing at 9-0 straight up this season. However, North Carolina is coming off a gut-wrenching loss to Stanford as a significant favorite. This presents an interesting dynamic, as we're getting a free point with the Tar Heels, who are unequivocally the more talented team on paper. If North Carolina finds its shooting rhythm, it's difficult to see Wake Forest matching their offensive output. While the Demon Deacons are undoubtedly playing solid basketball and deserve to be slight favorites, the value lies with the Tar Heels and the additional point. North Carolina's depth and experience against tough opponents make them a formidable underdog. So the North Carolina Tar Heels to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Even with North Carolina's well-documented struggles on defense, games involving the Tar Heels have tended to lean toward the under this season. Despite their low-scoring defense rank, the Tar Heels possess respectable defensive metrics, ranking 36th in defensive efficiency, 72nd in effective field goal percentage defense, 97th in field goal percentage defense, and 125th in three-point defense. The Tar Heels also prefer an up-tempo style of play, ranking 15th in adjusted tempo with an average of 72.2 possessions per game. On the other hand, Wake Forest has demonstrated defensive strength as well. The Demon Deacons rank 31st in defensive efficiency, 25th in effective field goal percentage defense, 35th in forced turnover percentage, and 21st in field goal percentage defense while maintaining a slower pace, ranking 230th in adjusted tempo with 66.4 possessions per game. Both teams are among the top 40 in adjusted defensive efficiency, underscoring their ability to limit opponents' scoring. Wake Forest allows just 97 points per 100 possessions, while North Carolina is close behind, surrendering 97 points per 100 possessions. At home, the Demon Deacons are particularly stingy, holding opponents to an average of only 63 points per game. While this matchup presents their most challenging test yet, it's unlikely they'll keep the Tar Heels under 65 points. However, it's equally improbable that North Carolina will dominate offensively against Wake Forest's disciplined defense. Expect the Demon Deacons to control the pace, forcing both teams to rely heavily on their defensive prowess. This game is shaping up to be a tightly contested, low-scoring affair. I anticipate the total points to land just below the projected line. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Wisconsin versus UCLA. It's a thrilling Big Ten matchup on the basketball court as the number 18 Wisconsin Badgers make their way to the City of Angels to face off against the UCLA Bruins on Tuesday. The Badgers head into this contest fresh off an impressive 84-69 road victory against USC on Saturday, a game where they defied the odds and won outright as 1.5-point underdogs. On the other side, UCLA comes into the game riding high after a dominant 94-70 home victory over Iowa on Friday night. night, where they comfortably covered the spread as 6-point favorites. Historically, these two programs have crossed paths just once before, with UCLA narrowly claiming a 72-70 victory in the third-place game of the Hall of Fame Classic held in Kansas City, Missouri, back on November 21, 2017. This game promises to be an intriguing battle of contrasting styles as Wisconsin brings its high-powered offense to the iconic Pauley Pavilion to take on a Bruins team known for its staunch defensive capabilities. The Badgers have been on an impressive run, winning 7 consecutive games, with 6 of those victories coming by margins of at least 12 points. Meanwhile, UCLA had been struggling prior to their recent victory, dropping 4 straight and losing 5 of their previous 6 games. Although the Bruins boast a strong defense this season, they face the significant challenge of keeping pace with Wisconsin's offense, which is no small feat. While UCLA's victory over Iowa showcased their offensive potential, it's worth noting that Iowa's road struggles might have contributed to that result more than anything. Wisconsin has demonstrated consistency and resilience, passing numerous tests this season, including their commanding win against USC in their last outing. Additionally, the Badgers benefit from remaining on the West Coast, avoiding the grueling travel schedule that many teams now face with the inclusion of USC, UCLA, and Washington in the Big Ten. This advantage may play a pivotal role in their performance. With 2 consecutive road wins under their belt and an offense that continues to shine, coupled with a significant edge at the free throw line, Wisconsin appears to hold the upper hand in this matchup. We're confident that taking points with the superior team is the right move here, so the Wisconsin Badgers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. While Wisconsin has been excelling offensively, their defense has also been a critical component of their success. The Badgers rank 46th nationally in defensive efficiency and have been effective at limiting their opponents, placing 54th in effective field goal defense, 85th in field goal percentage defense, and 81st in three-point defense. Meanwhile, UCLA boasts an even higher defensive pedigree, sitting 12th in the nation in defensive efficiency. They also excel at forcing turnovers, leading the country with a 24.9% forced turnover rate. The Bruins are slightly less imposing in other defensive categories, ranking 122nd in field goal percentage defense and 133rd in three-point defense. Their style of play often slows the pace of the game significantly, as they rank 261st in adjusted tempo, averaging just 65.6 possessions per game. This deliberate style is likely to limit scoring opportunities, making it reasonable to expect this game to fall short of the projected total. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.